my camera set a little bit better for you guys. We're trying to use something to prop up the phone because I took out the thing I normally prop up the phone with. So I think we got it. I'm hoping everybody is having a lovely start of their week. It is not too bad here. I'm having a pretty good time. I thought we could do a live today to kind of go over some fun stuff, talk about what's going on, see what you guys are up to, and just kind of show you some fun stuff that I got going. So this should be interesting. We will see what happens. Hello, Sarah. How are you? How are you? I'm hoping the notifications going out so everybody can see that we're here. Notifications on YouTube have been real weird lately, so I don't know. We'll see. But as we kind of get more people in here, then we'll dive into some of the fun that's been going on. And then also a few little interesting things. Hello, BJ. What is going on? I'm seeing more of you are coming in. Good. Oh, it's been a day today, let me tell you. Hi, Butterfly Kisses. If I miss anybody, the chat will start moving a little faster as more people start engaging. So I'll try to get in here and look around every so often just to make sure I didn't miss anybody. But hello. I'm so happy that everybody's here. Oh, it's been interesting as of late. As you guys can tell, I've been super busy with all the things going on the channel with the daily videos, but also just like a whole bunch of like interesting life stuff going on. So we'll see what happens today. You're having a day too, so we're just gonna all have a day together and just woosah. I'm almost to a place where I don't have to have sunglasses. It's still a little bright, but we'll see if I can see or not. I'll try to look at you guys versus maybe we have to do like 5 or 6 more minutes of the sunglasses though, because my eyes are pretty small. Hello. Oh, I just missed somebody. Hang on. Assateague National Park. Ooh, nice. How is it going with all the craziness in the world right now there? Is it still good? Are they having any issues? Let me know. Also, again, I'm trying to get this set. Oh no, our little thing that we're balancing on just took a tumble. Southern Illinois, Arkansas, okay. Cool. I'm gonna try one more thing. Sorry guys, I know it's like an earthquake going on in my world right now. There we go. I think we're good. Maybe it won't slide. I'm just trying to like make the most of our afternoon here. I've got a little bit more sunlight and it's just enough to be like, hi. Hello, New Mexico. Nice. Lots of people coming in from all over the country, and that's what we like to see. One of the best things about doing the YouTube and it being like a travel-based YouTube is we get people from all over the country, but we also get people from around the world. And a lot of people have really cool feedback about places, and then I get really great ideas also. So that's been the favorite thing of mine over the past 8 years because, well, we have a lot. Oh, Fort Worth, funky town. Woot. Cowtown over there. Oklahoma. See, just people from all over, and that's what makes this awesome. Just being able to like check with everybody, kind of see what's going on. Also get really good suggestions. Didn't get charged to get into the park. Everyone's being respectful. Talk with the ranger. He said that they were stretched, but they're making it work. Yeah, that's what it seems to be at a lot of the places. I know that I belong to a few national park groups, and they've all said different things that are happening. And it's kind of fascinating because as I'm watching the different parts of the people in different areas, like for example, Yosemite, they're just outright saying, hey, please don't come here because we're understaffed and people are doing crazy things. They've had people who have been base jumping there, like, why? Just don't do that. I understand thrill seekers want to take advantage and get their moment where they could go do that. But also, like, if you get hurt or you get lost, there's no one there to help you at this point. And that's really bad. So yeah, that part's not so great. Other parks that I've seen that are like, for example, Smoky Mountain National Park, people are saying there's still a lot of people because the roads through there like actually are the real roads. So there's a lot of people still coming through. Some of the campgrounds there, people have said they're not so great because there's nobody there. A lot of places that I noticed as I was kind of like driving along, toilets haven't been opened at, or trash is not like available where they have them like locked, so you can't even get like your trash in. So those are happening, but like I see little bits and pieces. Some people are like, yes, it's great, and some people are like, oh, not so good. So that's kind of what I wanted to know. I know somebody said that White Sands was not open. I don't know. That's wild. Some of the national monuments, the caves, of course, those aren't really super safe for people to just like go in without supervision, so I get it. But yeah, I'm just wanting everybody to be okay out there, you know, because the world's a little weird right now. Let's see. Hey guys, hey. Just traveling about, you know, just all over the place, kind of. As you guys know, I don't post in real time, so that gives me a little bit of mystery, but also at the same time, it's like one of those things where I've had so many positive things that have happened in the 8 years of travel, and just a few negative ones, but like the negative ones have screwed it up really bad, man. Whenever we were out and about camping and I was with my friends, whenever we were down in southern Colorado, we encountered so many lovely people, and then we encountered one really not so lovely person, but at the same time, it just kind of is what it is. Let's see. It's not necessarily, yeah, Anika, you can see where I am in real time. You're my safety buddy. But yeah, I don't normally post real-time stuff until it's like, you see me more on other medias closer to my timeline, but my timeline's kind of off right now, only because I had so much fun that I wanted to share. So if you're seeing where I am already gone from that location on my channel. So that's one of the things that I've always tried to implement for my safety, but also for you guys. If you guys are traveling and recording anything and putting it on the internet, even if it's just on your personal Facebook page with just your close family, don't put in real time where you are. Especially like right now, they're saying that, for example, if you have a home and you're not at your home, don't let people know you're not at your home, because if you're not at your home and people know that in real time, now the world's a little weird, so you might be more apt to have a visitor that you don't want come to your home. If you're a full-timer out there and you're posting in real time and you have cool stuff and you're showing somebody your cool stuff, all it takes is one person that has bad intentions to come out and find you. So that's bad. It's really bad, man. We shouldn't have to worry that much, but yeah. Since everybody kind of got the notifications and there's people coming in and everything, I just wanted to chit chat for a bit today. Hi to anybody that I haven't said hello to. I hope you're doing super, super well. I hope that everybody here is feeling good, even if it's a day. We can have a day together. So join in, have a good time, chit chat with one another in the comments as well. That's the best part of you guys, is you're a good community. I love reading through the comments when you guys are all engaging with one another, because that means that it's not just, hey, you're watching for whatever I'm doing, but like you're making people that you get to know, that you could actually have like possible connections with, and that's really, really nice. So just keep that up, guys. Have a good time. Also, I got something cool I want to show you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the cool thing that I found that I'm going to actually do as a craft project, and I'll probably put it honestly on my tiny home channel at some point. For those who are not familiar, I have a tiny home channel. It's Tiny Texas Living. I do tiny home projects there. I show a lot of the cats. I take care of a feral cat colony, and so do my parents. So we have that on there. I've been doing a lot more like live trail cams that I've been uploading from there and stuff like that. But I have a lot of fun projects also. So along the way, I like to share little stuff. And so I found this. This is just a little bunny shadow box. It's kind of harder to see the chats right there. But this is the bunny shadow box, and it opens up on the back where you can like pull it off. I did not get it for the $14.99 that it is marked. I got it for much less than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it with a fun color, I think, that matches like my aesthetic. I'm a very bright, bold person. My house has lots of bright, bold colors, so I'm going to paint it a fun color. I'm not sure which one yet. And then I'm going to take the back part off with these little clips that it has. And then when it comes off, I'm trying to do this without making a mess, guys. When it comes off, this part is the backing, and then it has this little paper. I'm going to take this paper out, and I'm actually going to recover it with something, probably like a map. And then inside of this, I'm going to put all of the little stones that I have and the crystals that I've collected, that I've found at like different places. And we'll see. It should be a really fun way for me to share those in my house without it like taking up a ton of shelf space, because one of the things that I've noticed is the smaller crystals that I found at like the Ron Coleman, they're really cute, but if I lay them all out, that takes up a lot of surface area. So I thought this could be fun for that, and then it could hang with my wall of wonder, because that's part of my wandering. So I'm gonna do that and have that some time in the future on the Tiny Home channel. I've also been asked, a lot of people have been wondering if I would share some of the soups that I make over there. Sure. I make soup constantly because I love soup. So I'll be putting some of those recipes up, and then some other things, just easy things. And then whenever I'm starting to tackle some of my bigger projects, I'll start adding those over there too. Speaking of which, one of my bigger projects that I'll be doing on the Tiny Home channel pretty soon is definitely going to be a big one, a big one. I'm going to put together a greenhouse at my property. So I'm going to have that hopefully before it gets super cold, and I'll be able to put some of my little plants in there so they can stay good. And then I'm going to set it up where I can actually sit in there as well and just like hang out in a nice calming space that isn't like wind ridden. So I'm going to put that out. I don't know where it's going to go on the property, and I don't know what exactly I'm going to do with it yet, but I do want to be able to like have my own herb garden. I love fresh basil. I love having the ability to go and just pick it off and then put it directly into something. It's so good. And then I'd like to do that with some other things too. So maybe like some mint for tea. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll get to some rosemary. Oh no, maybe some cilantro. Ooh, it's wild up in here. But yeah, I think that would be really fun because it would be just like a nice outdoor space. I can put some lights in there, make it nice for Christmas as well. Put a chair in there. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a project, that's for sure. So that's going to be coming up in the future. And then whenever that happens, then I'll share it with you guys. But we'll see. I could add lights to the bunny. Maybe. I do have some little lights that might work in there. The biggest thing with lights though is if they're battery operated, that means I have to do more batteries than I like. You want some okra in that garden? Okay, so Riley's family grows okra, a lot of okra, because okra grows a lot. And so Riley, when she is at her base camp, gets to be a farmer herself. She gets to harvest okra. And I don't really eat okra, so I don't know that I need okra in my greenhouse. But if I did, I know somebody who's got some good okra. But yeah, that's one of the projects that I'm going to be working on at base camp. And then, see, the problem for me is the texture of okra, slimy as it may be. Sometimes it's just, I don't know, it's furry, it's slimy, it does weird stuff. It's a texture thing. So, I don't know. Hello, Zach. How are you doing? Or Zachary. Do you go by Zach or Zachary? Beets are better. I don't know anything about harvesting beets whatsoever. I just don't. I'm really good like with just peeling off a little bit of the herbs and using them in like a soup. So I figure that I'm not a green thumb, but I could be slightly less of a black thumb. So, you know, we'll see. Zach is good. Good. So yeah, that's one of the things I'll be doing. I'm also going to be working on, let's see. I'm going to be working on some other things inside my house. I have a new grill that I'll be figuring out because my old grill kind of bit the dust. So I figured that that's something that I could do that would be positive. And then just try to get some things together. I also have some new things that I'm going to be using in the van, and I'm very excited about that. I've been having some interesting, we'll say dilemmas. That's the best way to say it, is dilemmas. So I'm going to be changing some things out. Definitely need to change some things out. I also have an upcoming camping trip that I'm going to be going on. That'll be really fun. So I'm super excited about that. In fact, I think I'm going to get back to doing a little bit more of the tent camping. I know, everybody likes the van, and I like the van too, but I like the adventure of doing some tent things because it's just fun. and it's something I haven't done in a while. I started out, for the first 3 years I tent camped. In fact, Anika, who's in the comments here, she's been on a tent camping trip with me. It was not her cup of tea, and that's okay. But at the same time, it's super fun because it gives us an opportunity to do something different. And one of my things that I really want to do here on the channel is kind of like start to address some of the things that I've been seeing. There's a lot of people out there who do not think that they can get out and do stuff just because they don't have a van. And I want to prove that wrong. I'm going to show how you can and how I started out, because I think that there's something really fun about being in the tent, even if it's hard. And so it's definitely something that I just kind of want to show people more than anything. And so I have a couple planned trips that I'm going to be going on just with the tent. Short trips, not anything crazy long, not going to be gone for months on end tent camping through bear country or anything. It's going to be in very specific controlled environments. Also, yes, I'm glad that Riley and Anika are hanging out in the comments here. Riley, there is a place for your okra. Yes. Yay! We're all friends here. For those of you who are not familiar, Anika is actually one of my old school friends that traveled with me a bit at the very beginning. And so, yeah. I like tent camping, but you have a camper. Yeah, I think that's the best thing, is like just having things that are different opportunities, different options. And so that's one of the things, since I talk about so many options with so many other things, like why not talk about those options? A lot of people came along after I got the van and they have no idea of the craziness that I used to do with the tent. So I think that that would be really, really fun to just kind of like show people, you know, a little bit. So this upcoming camping trip that I'm going to be going on pretty soon is going to be something to kind of like show that to people just a little bit. And then I have something else planned after that that is going to be very, very fun. I'm very excited. And who knows, maybe I can even convince Riley to get a tent at some point. We'll see. We will see. So that could be fun. Chaos and mayhem strike again. Dun, dun, dun. You're camping at the hospital. That does not sound like a fun camping experience. That sounds like a very stressful one. Bunny live. Yes, I'm live. Doesn't happen very often, but whenever I do hop on, I just try to like hang out for a little bit, chit chat, have a good time. Ooh, Riley's making a face, so that's not a no. That's not a no, guys. She didn't say no. Yeah, she better camp. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I agree, Anika. I was actually talking to Pam, which for those of you who have not been around since the beginning, my friend Pam went on my very first trip with me, and then we went on another camping trip to New Orleans, and we had super good time. She was joking with me and said I should, for my 10-year celebration, which is not this coming year, but the following year, that I should have a big camp out with all of my OG travel buddies. And I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I could invite my immediate group of van friends that I have, and then also my OG travel buddies, and then we could all camp together and have a good time. I think it would be super fun. Now, am I going to convince everybody to get in a tent? Probably not. Probably not. But like, you know, maybe. Let's see. I missed a few things. Everything kind of jumped on me. Yeah, Arizona would actually be a much better place to tent camp right now than most places like coming up, because it's either going to be super cold, super berry, or super dusty. And no, we want ideal camping conditions. Let's see. Hi from Scotland. Hello! Again, the best part of the channel, you guys, because you're from all over the place. This is great. I think I missed something else too, but it just like went so quickly. Oh no, if I missed your comment, I'm super, super sorry. Oh, Sarah said, getting over the being alone and female thing with no friend group. It's tough for you. You know what? The thing about it is, I have a video that's coming up pretty soon about loneliness and just how to kind of mitigate that and what I have done personally. But it is one of those things that you just have to kind of sink into being okay with by yourself. Does that make sense? We're social people by nature. So like whenever we get the opportunity to, we take advantage of it. We just talk to whoever we can in those moments. I remember the first 3 years, with the exception of a trip here or there with friends, I was kind of by myself a lot. And so I took that time to really just like get to know myself and be okay with just silence. And then I also figured out that like there are so many things that I can talk myself through if I am in silence. So that was super helpful. And in doing that, it was great. So now I really cherish those times that I get to be around friends, but at the same time, like, I'm okay with being by myself because I know that I'm ultimately going to be okay. It also helps that I have a chit chat partner, which I will explain. Just have somebody that you can talk to at any given time. Riley and I do running updates of our lives all day long. We do voice notes as opposed to text messages. And like when you're voice chatting someone pretty much constantly about the mundane stuff, like it feels like they're present. And part of that is like a safety buddy thing. Like, again, I have Anika in here who's my safety buddy, and I have Riley in here who's my safety buddy, and I have one other safety buddy who just like knows where I am at any given time. And they're people who are not in my actual family. I think it's really important for your family to kind of know what's going on, but to have outside of your family people so that you can have a network, because it takes a village, okay? It's not just it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village in general for most things. So having those people that you can just like touch base with, it's a great thing. Like, I know that everybody has different things and everybody's situation with each friend is very different, but like having people on different levels of that is so handy. Not to mention, like Riley said, voice chat makes long distance friendships way easier. It does. You can sit there and just fire off a, hey Riley, so I'm cooking soup tonight, what would you throw in this? And then she'll chat back whenever she has the opportunity to and be like, hey, you should try potatoes. And then we'll just go back and forth that way, as opposed to you should try potatoes. That has no inflection, nothing. If she's having a scary safety buddy moment, she'll be like, hey, I need you to be my safety buddy right now in real time. If I let off of this voice message, something's happened. Cool. That's so good to know, and also super helpful. So we just kind of do that, and it's so much of like a break from what the norm is. And then at the same time, it's one of those things that as we're sitting there and we're chatting, like it's just like you're talking to your friend who's there. So that's kind of cool. Yes, exactly. Riley knows where I camp. So that's the thing. Anika knows where I'm at. She can check my location. Riley can check my location. Again, I have another friend who can check my location. We share our locations using iPhones. So you can have your little group of people who all see where you are. And like, it's just kind of handy. So I really appreciate that, A, my friends are willing to be my safety buddies, but also that it keeps me kind of like sane. Because sometimes, you just need to like say something to not yourself. And then you can do that because you have voice chat. So it works. I recommend everyone have a voice chat partner. I know a lot of people are like, I don't like voice chat. I don't want to call and talk to anybody. You don't have to. It's just you push the button and you talk. And then whenever the friend is not busy, they listen and then respond. And it's been a game changer for us because, again, inflection matters a lot of time. So if I'm sitting here and I'm having like a moment or I am frustrated about something, I can vent it. It makes me feel better. And then my friend can be like, hey, yes, I see you, I hear you, I understand you, you are valid. And then we can go through it, and we can get through it much faster than typing out a book of what happened and then them having to read that book and be like, oh, this is a lot. Instead, a voice chat of about 30 seconds to a minute and a half is usually enough to get out most messages. And then every so often you have one of those meandering things where you're just like 5 minutes of, I need to just friend. Frenting and venting are very different things, just so you know. If you need to French, sometimes it's going to take a minute. And then your friend can just hear that and be like, okay, this is where we're at. We went down the line of Delulu and we're back again. Cool. I can give this good input. So yeah, those are all things. Text can be taken wrong. Yes, context matters and voice inflection also matters. So whenever we're sitting here and we're like saying something, it can be way out of context just from a text. If you have that voice though, you can say something wild and the friend can hear you going, ha 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 ha, and they know that you're not serious. Frenching is different. That's all. That's it. We're just saying it's different. Okay, I'm glad that you guys have made a connection over the okra. Emails can also be taken wrong. Absolutely. Emails can come across super passive aggressive depending on how you even punctuate. So instead of using punctuation to dictate how you feel, you can just use your words. And it's so much easier. And then it takes so much less time. And then you're not sitting here like this, or worse, if you're like me and you text a lot of your voice or your text messages. My phone has a sense of humor, so it autocorrects really terribly. So I end up saying words I didn't even say. That's really bad. That's part of the reason why I really enjoy the fact that we do the voice texting, because that has changed how I am able to communicate with my friends without sounding like I am just uneducated, because I am definitely much more educated than my phone makes me out to be sometimes when it changes my words. It makes me sound dumb, and I'm not dumb, so I just get frustrated. Let's see. Tons of people at my work are sick today. Oh, that sounds bad. I've been seeing that there are several, okay, so I watch TikToks and things like that just to kind of see what's going on around the world in places I'm going to. And a lot of people in the nursing industry, I guess, profession, have been saying that the doctor's offices are getting quite crowded. So something is definitely going on out there. So I'm trying to just like, no, don't breathe on me if I have to go in public. I don't want to be sick. Yes, there were a lot of ducks in not a row. Let's see. When I leave a real voicemail, I'd actually say period to end a sentence. Yeah. So that's the thing, is like I have to say dot, 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 or dot, because period types it out about half the time or does weird stuff. Dot, dot, dot seems to understand me, but like other things, like simple things, it very much so distorts, or it just makes it a word that I've never even used in my vocabulary. Those are really fun because I'm like, what? It doesn't even sound like me. Why? So that's always awkward. Let's see. Yeah, it does lead to some hilarious typos, but at the same time, not so great sometimes if you're trying to do like something professionally. The hospital is full of this. Oh, that's bad. I'm so sorry about your loss. I'm super sorry, Tina. Yeah, I'm hoping that you're going to be okay, because this time of year is always whenever bad things start ramping up anyway. And so whenever you see that there's a bug that's going around and they may or may not be able to figure out what that bug is immediately, that's really scary. So I hope that you're okay. I do extend my condolences as well. I like your little snails, Catherine. I type too slow and conversations are behind. I mean, that's okay. That's okay. You're trying to engage, and that's what matters. Yeah, as much as like you can stay home and stay out of crowds, that's the best thing to do right now. I'm trying to figure out navigating through some interesting things over the next few weeks, and so in doing that, I'm just like, even whenever I went to Walmart, I was like, because you know, people are trash pandas sometimes. They don't really take care of things. A lot of people, we learned in 2020, don't wash their hands. That was probably the most alarming thing, that and the fact that toilet paper translated into currency. That was really weird too. So yeah. Other than that, let's see. There was something else I wanted to tell you guys about, and I don't remember what else it was. Oh, Anika, how was the parade? I saw that the Aces won. For those who don't know what Anika is talking about, the Las Vegas Aces just won the WNBA championship. Can't talk today. And I've been kind of watching the WNBA for a while. Asia Wilson is awesome. And they had a really good team. It started out kind of rough for them a little bit, and then they started to get it together and stuff, and then they ended up winning the championship, so it was really fun. This year is a CBA year for the WNBA. For those who don't know, I used to work in sports, so this is a big deal for me. I actually, during the time that I was working for the team toward the end, they went through a similar situation, and that led to a lockout. And that's ultimately what ended up with me departing sports, was that I got downsized at that time. So it kind of is one of those things that, like, this is a rough time now that the season is over. They've had the championship, they're celebrating, and now they go into negotiations for their contract. And their contract is not just, oh, how much they get paid, but also if they get a share in their name, basically. If they get to make money off of their own jerseys. If they do, what is that percentage? All of those things factor into the CBA. And the WNBA, again, a lot of people don't follow the WNBA, but you should. It's women's basketball and it's awesome. It's really grown over the past few years quite a bit. And in doing so, it is such a big deal that they are getting paid so little in comparison to their male counterparts. So that's kind of a wild thing that's going on with that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've been watching a lot of sports lately. Hello, Mr. Murphy. I know I saw that she just signed a new deal with Nike. She just got her shoe release, and then she signed, I think she's going to do kind of like, okay, so Caitlin Clark did the fashion line and shoe release, which will come out, I think they said next year. And I think Asia is going to release her own sportswear as well, which will be kind of cool because I liked her shoes. Yeah, you should get into that, Riley. You should. You should be into basketball way more. Just saying. Just saying. I love basketball. Oh, you went to a couple Sky games. Okay, so I almost went to a Sky game whenever I was up in the Iowa area. We weren't that far from Chicago, and they had a game, and I was like, ooh, I kind of want to go. But the problem was, whenever I wanted to go, they were playing the Fever, and the ticket prices soar when they play the Fever because everybody wants to go and see the Fever play. And so the tickets went from like some stupid amount to some like ridiculous amount. And then they found out that Caitlin wasn't playing, so the tickets were cheap. But at that point, I'd already kind of turned in the opposite direction, so there was no way that I was going to make it there. How much are Aces tickets typically, Anika? Just out of curiosity, because I know like I priced out some of the Wings tickets and they're not that bad. And Max hooped with a bunch of those girls because like he would hang out with a bunch of them. So just curious. Telling my life right now. Sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Riley and I are going to take up sports. Okay, I know she's just going to be like, what? We're doing what? Yeah, we're going to take up sports. Whenever we did the rodeo, we had so much fun, and so I've been wanting to do like a whole bunch of random sports things with Riley just for funsies, not for anything like super serious, but just to see what happens. So I think that we should do that. Yes, we are. We talked about this. She's like, no, but I think it'd be super fun. Just to kind of see. I mean, worst case scenario, we're bad, but like we shot baskets whenever you were with me and my parents and we went over to Bridgeport. So I think that you would be just fine. I think you would. I think we should totally do this. So if you are all for a sporting challenge, yes, like curling, all the cool sports. So if you're for a sporting challenge, drop a heart in the chat right now. If you're interested in seeing me and Riley attempt to play sports. I'm just curious. This is not a good cross-section completely of the channel, but I feel like it's a good enough cross-section that we can collectively say yes or no. See, Anika is all for it. The rodeo was fun to watch. I think this will be super fun. Now, is this going to become the entire channel? No, it is not. But is it going to be an interesting activity day when we do it? Yes, it will. See, Riley, all these people, they are supporting our sporting. Like we're going to get it. We're going to do activities. It'll be super fun. Like, why not? I just think that there could be some interesting things. Like curling would be awesome. I think curling would be super awesome. I think that would also be one of the harder ones that we could do because you have to be on like ice. So that just sounds dangerous for both of us. But like, I think that we could easily do like a game of horse or bunny. We could do a game of bunny. Wouldn't that be fun? We could just do a game of bunny. Roller skating also sounds really dangerous for both of us, but at the same time, super fun. Super fun. I think that we should try a football skills challenge. I don't think that we would be good at it, either of us, but like, it could be fun. Riley's dad actually plays pickleball, so we might actually have a chance of someone explaining it to us correctly and then not being terrible. I don't know, maybe. Riley used to play volleyball. You can't play volleyball with two people, but like maybe we could get together a group just like we had talked about getting a kickball group together. Wouldn't that be fun? I know, curling is so addictive. So this is the thing. There are so many times where we have just gone into random places. Hang on, I'm going to move this just a minute. I can't climb rock walls. I'm really bad at that. I'm super bad at that. I have no hand strength. So we've gone to many places and there've been sports on, and then we'll just sit there like we're eating or something, and then there's a sport on it. We'll be like, oh, what is this? And that happened with curling. When we were in Vegas, we were tooting and scooting around on the Strip, having a good time, just doing our thing. We went to go to this place, and when we went there, they were playing curling. And we were like, okay, cool, cool. And I love curling. And Riley was not as familiar with curling, we will say. And then we got into it, like super into it. Like we were like, yeah! It was a day. So curling is addictive. It's super fun because it's just ridiculous. Like there's something funny about seeing them sweep the ice. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I hate that it covers the camera when I go over to this side to pull up the chat. Oh no. Yes, Riley can climb rocks. I cannot. Actually, I don't know if you can now that you've injured your wrists. That would be interesting. Rugby is fun to watch. I am a huge fan of the All Blacks just because I started watching it. Okay, I will admit, I started watching it because I kept seeing all of these random things that Jason Momoa posted about the All Blacks. And then I saw them do this awesome thing like to honor their players, and I was like, this is cool. I like them. So I started watching more rugby. And then I got into women's rugby with Alona Mar because she's such a like positive women's figure. And so I was like, okay, rugby's kind of cool. I kind of like rugby now. So yeah, I think we should just do random sporting things, Riley. Hint, hint. Okay, we're making another plan, just so you know. We're making this plan official. Hate to leave the live. It's okay. It's so good that you were able to stop in. If you want to check out the rest of it, it'll be posted after this. But have a safe drive. Oh, it is quite fascinating, the weird things that we do. Just saying. Speaking of weird things that we do, Riley and I have a video that'll come up sometime in the future where we're doing yet another spice challenge. I think we know where this went. I think we know that it did not end well for Riley. But at the same time, was it funny? Absolutely. It was super, super funny. And I'm not laughing at Riley because I know some people are like, that's not very nice to make fun of your friend. But no, Riley wanted to torture herself. She had the idea. It was Riley's idea. So, yeah, Riley doesn't do well with spices at all. So that'll be coming up. That'll be interesting. I also have in the near future some things where we can make fun of me, because there are some moments where definitely you get to make fun of me. You did do better than you thought you would, and I was super proud of you because of that. But I just edited that video, and I don't know that you did as well as you think you did, but you did better than you thought you would. But the face was pretty constant during the entire edit, and I was like, oh my gosh. You know what else I think we should do at some point? I think we should go to a silent disco. Because that would be fun. We could be jamming and then just dorky dance until you're blue in the face. Dorky dance. This is not the greatest water bottle. I really need to change this one out. Silent discos, yes, we should do that. At some point in the future. It'd be cool to silence on the camera. Yeah, that would be the best part. Just the dancing with no context. None. Just silence. And then like whenever you hear it, you know, it's great music. But like okay, so we did the singles mixer, and the singles mixer was super fun because it was very different. I like doing all of these random things because those are all things that anybody could do realistically in pretty much any town. You just have to kind of look. So doing these things, I'm hoping that people see it and are just like, oh, I didn't think I could do that. That's cool. So yeah, that was super fun. I mean, it was just a great way to meet a whole bunch of new people. Let's see. Oh no, it went away. When I was younger, I loved archery. Maybe, oh, archery could be fun. Archery could also be very dangerous. Throwing axes. Okay, so we kind of did a version of axe throwing whenever we hung out last, but at the same time we didn't film it. So we should definitely do that. That would be super cool because I don't know that we'd be good at it, but it would certainly be as long as we face in the right direction and no axe wielding is going in the wrong direction, I would feel safe. Colorado is one of my favorite states. It's so nice. I love it. It makes me happy. Going from Texas, where it's hot, to Colorado in the summertime where it's nice and cool, and being able to like hike and see beautiful mountain lakes that are just like these amazing colors that you do not see most every other place. It's just fabulous. Not to mention there's just so many like wonderful people that I've met over time. So I really enjoyed just getting out and going to Colorado just in general every year. And so that's why I kind of return there constantly. That's why I try to explore as much of the state as I possibly can. I do have a few places that I've already picked out that I want to go and do a little bit more. And because of our weird situation that happened in Colorado this time, I will be back. I've got some things to finish up there that I didn't get to show you guys. There was one in particular thing that I really wanted to do an in-depth video over, and we had to leave. And there's another location that is kind of a fun secret location that is near there that I want to do. Our original goal was to go over to Alamosa, to kind of where we met. There's a campsite like right over by literally where all of our friend group met. And I was hoping to do that, but it was still hot there, so we couldn't do that. So maybe I could go up there when it's not so hot in that area, and we could do that. It would be really fun. Yes, what is that flag, Mother Mango? Grand Junction. Oh, I love that area. With the dinosaur footprints, I've been there. That was so cool. The only problem about Grand Junction is it's so stinking hot during the summertime. I like go through there and melt. I feel like I'm in Texas again. Watching from the Bahamas. Nice. Super nice. Have I been to downtown Denver? Okay, so I have been to downtown Denver before. I actually did a thing there a few years back whenever I was really active with the dirt. I was a dirt ranger and we did Questival. If I ever get an opportunity to do that again, I will definitely do it. It's so cool. I don't have a video on my channel about it, but this company called Cotopaxi hosted this huge thing in several different cities across the country, and it was like a really neat scavenger hunt. And so I spent a lot of time in downtown Denver doing all sorts of random things, from dressing up and singing to people, to going to a museum, to riding on their like trolley cart thing. We did a bunch of really cool things there. We did a couple of restaurants. I loved it. I had so much fun. And then we went back whenever we went to Meow Wolf in Denver, and I was there with Riley and another one of our friends, and we went to a really cool sushi place there, and we went to Meow Wolf, and that was fun. So yeah, that place is really nice. It's just a little bit harder to find camping near there, so it's harder to just really enjoy it. And that's frustrating. Palm Springs, you're looking great. Thank you so much. Yeah, downtown Denver is fun. I enjoy it. Not to mention they have some really good food there. Like, there's all sorts of kinds of foods in downtown Denver area. Great peaches. Woo! That reminds me of the song Peaches by, I think it's the American Presidents. Dead American Presidents is what the band is. I don't know, it was popular in like the 90s. I'm old like that. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up. I missed a couple. Sorry guys. I'm not trying to miss you, I promise. Presidents of the United States. Yes, The Dead Presidents was a movie. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Because like too many ideas swirling all around the same time period though, which is interesting. Oh, I'm so happy that you've been enjoying. I have thoroughly loved all the places that we've been to. I think that's one of the best things, is being able to get out and try to just find new stuff. And every day try to find something interesting and do something that isn't necessarily the most common thing. I like to do a lot of things across the board, as you guys can see, very diverse taste. And I've also learned that even if something isn't of interest to me, like personally, like, oh my gosh, this is the most cool thing on earth. If I go there, it's probably going to become one of the cooler things on earth. Like I've been to some strange things that I was like, huh, am I going to like this? But I knew somebody would like it. And if I looked it up and there was no video, I was like, let's make a video for this, because someone out there will want to go here and they'll want to know what it is. And so that starts me off on a lot of different like tangents of going into places that are very fascinating, and then I come across brain wrinkles and interesting things. So that's been cool. Lake Geneva is beautiful in Wisconsin. Okay, so whenever I was in Wisconsin, I did not know that there were a bunch of things that there were there, and I found out after, and I was like, ah. So I have to go back to Wisconsin, and I definitely have to go back to Minnesota, because Minnesota I only was able to scratch the surface of, and I know there was a ton of stuff that was on my list, and even since then I've added things to my list because people have suggested it. So at some point I have to go back in that direction. Am I ever going to get a pet? No. I actually have a video that's coming out explaining a little bit more of that pretty soon. I get asked that really frequently, and long story short, I do not want a pet. It's not fair for a pet if we're in the van. There's not enough room. It's hot in here when I'm away from here, and that is not safe nor responsible. And I'm not ready to limit where I'm going because of an animal. I'm just not. And I know that that's unpopular, and a lot of people are like, you would have a security buddy or something. I know. But no, I like animals. I love animals, but also I love animals enough to know that the way I have everything set up in my space specifically, it's not conducive to having an animal, because that was never my intention, nor is it my intention. Even if I were to get a bigger rig, probably not going to have an animal still. That's a lot of responsibility. And, you know, we've had family pets before. I've had individual pets before, and I love dearly them. And at the same time, not going to be something that I do on the road. Just not. Let's see. Okay, Nika, Minnesota was cool. I enjoyed Minnesota. The only thing that I did not love about Minnesota that everybody warned me about was that after it gets dark, there are mosquitoes. Lots and lots of mosquitoes. And you know, Texas has mosquitoes. No, these are like birds. They're big and they're everywhere and they're bad. So you just go inside. That's what everybody told me. You just go inside. And I agree. It's because there's so much water there, though. I'm so happy that you like that, Mary, because that's one of the things that I didn't realize the full value of until I had a veteran who was wounded, and he was like, I appreciate that you tell us about the 88 trails, because there's a lot of places I can't go. And I was like, I need to always tell people about the trail after that, because that matters. Like, I can go pretty much anywhere. Well, okay, I say I can go pretty much anywhere. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I cannot go up a 14er. That's not happening. But I can go pretty much anywhere if I take it slow and I just, you know, am very intentional. But there are a lot of people who cannot. And so being able to have accessibility to people is very, very important to me. I want people to be able to learn, to be able to go out, to do things, but also I want them to feel comfortable and prepared. And that is a disservice to someone if you show them something gorgeous and are like, oh yeah, you'll love this, and then they get there and they can't do it, you know? So I'd rather people know. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Jay Sweet. I appreciate you. You know what? It's okay, because I'm okay with not having 1 million subs or 100,000 subs or anything. And the reason why is because the people who are supposed to be on my channel find my channel, and then they enjoy the channel and the content, and that's what matters most to me. Numbers are not as important as value, and I think that that's the biggest thing that people mistake, is that if you have value to someone, that is way more important than having a whole bunch of people who are just there, I would rather have people who are actively engaged and people who enjoy. I've always said that. And, you know, numbers come and go, but people who actually enjoy what it is that you are doing is what matters. That's why I get so frustrated by YouTube, though, whenever they don't share my videos with those people. I've had at least 4 people today be like, I got your video from yesterday today. It's like, why, YouTube? Why? Let's see. No thanks on the mosquitoes. I agree. That's the one thing. I just got in the van. It was fine. Want to check out Hawaii? I would love to one day go to Hawaii, but Hawaii is one of those places that like takes some intention. Does that make sense? Oh, you couldn't enjoy the outside at all? Oh, that's terrible, Sarah. Let's see. Too many notifications give me anxiety. I understand. Same. I tried to clear out my email the other day. I had over 7,000 emails left in my email after I cleared out 2,000 of them. But it's like, it just kept going and going. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I'm going crazy. And it's not like I don't clear out my email randomly. Like, I do this, but I get so many emails, and I've unsubscribed from like everything, and I still get so many emails, and I'm just like, okay, we just can't look at it. We just can't look at it. I've got it cleared off my phone where it doesn't tell me how many I have, so that makes me less stressed out. But like, I don't know if it's just like not deleting them whenever I'm doing it on my phone, and I mostly check it on my phone, or if it's like just throwing them somewhere else and being like, oh, they're still here. I don't know. It's just, I do not love that. It makes me cuckoo. So yeah, notifications right there with it. I even had to turn off like the part where it tells me if people commented on my channel, because I was getting emails for that. I don't know why, because that's impossible. I have a daily video, and there's usually anywhere between 20 and 90 comments. And then anytime somebody responds, it would also send me that. So I was getting all of those every day on all the channels. That was a lot. You like equipment videos? It's helpful. I don't do a lot of equipment videos when it comes to like filming stuff, but I try to do it for the van itself. Just because like with my filming equipment, currently I have a tripod, and then I have my phone that I use most frequently. I have a microphone that I use sometimes. I have a really nice camera, but I don't use it all the time because it's bulky. I have some action cameras that I don't use for everything. I use them for certain things, but not everything. I have some bigger projects where I'll use them a lot more, but like as of right now, I'm just kind of dealing with small and minimal because it makes my life a little bit easier. But in the van, I use all sorts of equipment. So I talk about that pretty frequently so people can get some ongoing reviews. I think it's really important to do that just because a lot of people, I've seen this so frequently in the comments section. When somebody comes to one of the reviews that I've done or something where I'm just unboxing it and I say, don't buy this until I beat it up, I'll have people comment and be like, what do you mean don't buy it? That's literally why this video is here. And I'm like, no. For my audience, I want you guys to see what it is so you can see what it is that we're going to be playing with, and then I'll beat it up. I'll do all sorts of weird stuff to it. And then if you're interested in it after I have been beating it up for a while, there's always like an Amazon Prime Day special, or there's always like a Black Friday special. So you can get it cheaper, but know what you're getting yourself into, because that's way better. In fact, I have a power station that I'm going to be sharing with you guys next month. And let's just say this. I've been asked to review this power station 3 times in the comment section in the past week and a half, because people were seeing it coming out with other people and they're like, can you look at this? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I got it, and now we're reviewing it, and I have thoughts, and you'll see those thoughts next month. It's not that it's a bad power station, it's just that I have thoughts. So we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, personal email is super daunting. The business email is more daunting. Let's see. Yeah, social media notifications, whenever I changed my YouTube out, it just automatically started doing them, and I was like, we can't do this. Did we do my solar myself? Is it wired through the roof? Okay, I did not. I am giving my dad full credit for this, okay? I had already put on the roof racks with my dad, so those have been up. The solar panel itself I already had, and I did help him, but I am not the solar person. When it comes to installing, I was afraid to drill any holes in my van at all. And so anytime I've drilled a hole, I've always been like, Dad, can you help me drill this hole? Because I don't want to mess up. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to drill a hole that's this big for something that needs a hole this big, or a hole this big for something that needs one this big. I want to do one cut and that's it. So I asked him and he helped me. And the panel itself sits up on top right here. It's like right over the cab section. I do have in the back section coming through right behind where, like in this section right here, that's where it actually comes in from the ceiling, and it is a drilled in piece. And then it has like a little part where it all comes in. He has made sure that the wires do not rub. He has a little connector piece that actually keeps the rain off of it so it doesn't leak into my van. He used the right kind of sealant and everything. He did a very good job. And then the cord harness comes down so I can use it across anywhere in this section. It's a long cord harness, so I can plug in a power station on this side or on this side, and it works great. It's a Renogy, and the Renogy panel is a 100-watt Renogy panel. Love that thing. I'm just gonna say this, I went many moons without having attached solar, and I immediately on the first trip with the attached solar questioned why I didn't do it sooner, because honestly, best thing ever. I don't sit still very long, so pulling out a portable panel, it works whenever I'm in the desert, when I'm hanging out with my friends, but like on a regular day, I'm not getting much solar because I am moving. I like to move. I like to party, and that means that we're not getting solar. But with this, I can get solar 24/7. Well, not 24/7 because the moon, you know, but anytime that there's sunlight, I can have solar immediately pumping in. Even when I'm still in bed at 6:30 in the morning, the solar, like the sun comes out, I am already drawing power without having to have anything outside of the van set up, which is so dangerous. Do not leave things outside your campsite. Don't do it. I'll tell you a story in just a minute, but don't do that. But yeah, it's great. I definitely recommend it. Let me see, I'm gonna catch up real quick and then I'll tell you my weird little story. You bought the Jewel? Ooh! You have Riley and my favorite device. We love that thing. The little air fryer is amazing. I'm so happy you got the Jewel though. Like when Riley and I both got the Jewel, we were both like, oh my gosh, we love this. This is a game changer because now it takes the same amount of power as my other kettle did, but I can heat up soups really easily. I don't have to worry about using butane in my van, so I don't have to like vent it. So if I'm at a truck stop, I don't have to worry about, okay, let me open my door a crack so I can do this. I don't like doing that. I like to keep myself in safety. And so it's nice to be able to just plug in, have soup, the end. Plug in, have tea, the end. Plug in, make a mountain house, the end. You know, so that's super nice. Yes, I completely understand. That's the same thing. I didn't want to deal with the Jetboil situation. I like Jetboil a lot, but I didn't want to have to deal with the gas part of it in the van itself unless I was going to be able to vent it. And I can vent it sometimes, but other times I don't want to have my doors open and be that girly. So it is what it is. Okay, story time. So after our situation that happened in Colorado, where someone came up and bothered us, we'll just say, I was talking to a ranger whenever I made it up toward the Leadville area. I stopped off to do some interesting reconnaissance, so to speak, about some things in the area, and I talked to a ranger, and I was telling them, you know, this is what happened, and the ranger just outright told me, he says, do not leave things outside of your campsite. The reason why is because they do have people who come through and steal things, and it happens in Leadville, it happens in the southern part of Colorado, it probably happens in California, it probably happens in Virginia. It does happen though. And I was like, okay, so they have people who have reported this has happened in these different areas. Leaving things out is not something you should ever do, especially if it's of value. Like I talked about this with the decoy tent. Don't leave things out, but like, don't leave things out. Like for real, don't leave things out, because it brings people into your space. And if it brings people into your space and they feel confident, they could do just about anything, not just steal your stuff. They could deflate your tires. They could put a tracker on your van. They could do those kinds of things, because people right now, especially in the world, are not thinking with their clear brains. They're just not. And they don't care necessarily if you personally are a good person. They just don't. They're looking for what they can get, what they can use, what they can pawn. And those were the things that the ranger said. I then found that there were a lot of people online whenever I looked up things being stolen from campsites. Do you know how many e-bikes have been stolen that people have documented just with YouTube channels? Hundreds of e-bikes that have been attached to people's rigs have been taken in the night. Hundreds of them, guys. So these are things that are physically attached to the van, and people are bold enough to be like, hey, I'm going to take this. So if you are dealing with people who are brave enough to come up and physically detach something from your vehicle, Don't you think that if they saw a little solar panel out there that they could just pop up, they'd take it? Yeah, they would. So don't leave stuff outside. Don't do it. I don't care if it's a camp chair. I will never leave anything outside at my campsite because that just draws in people. And that's not good. That's not good. So no, don't do it. Can you give the model of the jewel? I don't know the model number of the jewel that I have, but do you know yours, J Sweet? Riley needs a walking stick. I don't disagree, but realistically, let's talk about the real problem. Riley and I've already figured this out. The real problem is not that she needs a walking stick or hiking poles. She more than anything needs to just pick up her feet. Riley kind of shuffles sometimes whenever she's excited about things because she's like, ooh, let's go see this. And fair, I do it too sometimes. But there's a lot of roots and Riley tends to not have the clearance in the foot. Does that make sense? So we were talking about that because everybody was sitting there like, Riley needs trekking poles. And I was like, Riley, do you need trekking poles? And we figured out that the problem is not so much the trekking poles as it is the foot height step ratio. I think that would solve a lot. Yes, Anika, you have the bad ankles. I travel with a lot of people who enjoy having trips. Don't worry though. I also, like I said, I have a really funny moment that's coming up that was not so funny, but looking back, it was funny. You'll see a little preview from that actually coming out this week. Super fun. So you guys can laugh all you want because I laughed at myself too. So see, when you get excited, you're just like, oh, let's do this. And you don't necessarily think, oh, let's do this because that feels awkward because it feels like an abnormal step. But at the same time, when you're on a trail that has big rocks and roots, you gotta like almost like marching legs. It's just not a natural footstep thing. It's like how you don't leave food out to attract the bears. Yes. Okay, funny story. That is also something you guys will be seeing soon. Somebody did that near my campsite. Super not fun. I was okay. Clearly, I am fine. They, on the other hand, super freaked out. Super freaked out. Finally caught up to me last spring. See, I didn't know how you hurt your foot, Anika. That is hilarious. Curb. Curb 1, Anika 0. It's okay. It got so bad, okay, for context, it got so bad that like Riley was betting with Mateo over who was gonna fall more. They made wagers. I was like, okay, cool. So we started counting how many days it had been since Riley last tripped. I think it's valid. It's valid. She did much better later on though. No, it wasn't a super funny story, but it was kind of funny because of what they did and what happened after. Yeah, there's signs everywhere that say don't have things out, and yet they were like, oh yeah, this is fine. Trash. And then the bear was like, this is a tasty morsel. No, I was far enough away from them that I did not feel impending doom, even after being told about this. So it was good. I was in the van. It was fine. Oh, you guys just bit the dust. Whoa, why are you guys jumping around like that? But yeah, we have bear spray for the bears and that works, but I don't know. They just didn't know. Wait, what? Let's see. Also, I'm proud to report that we did not get eaten by bears on the next leg of our trip, which you guys will be seeing very soon. We survived. Talking about bears has me rethinking Arizona. Okay, so Arizona isn't so bad with the bears in the areas that normally we camp. That's the thing. We camp in like the deserty part, and there's not really bears there. When we do go up to the northern sections, it's normally later, and most of the time it's just elk. There are some bears in some of the areas, but it's more rare to see them there. Although, it's more rare to see them in Arkansas. And recently there have been a lot of bears, like a lot of bears. So I've been keeping up with different news in different areas, and there have been several bear attacks in Arkansas recently, and they're attributing that to the fact that the weather has forced the bears out of certain areas, and they're more so populating now into Arkansas again. So yeah, that's something to think about. Wild hogs, yeah, I don't play with those. Those are mean. Rattlesnakes, no. Mountain lions, yeah, I don't want to mess with any of the big ones. Oh yeah, there was a moment where we thought the giant rock was a bear. That is true. That was kind of funny. Just because Anika lives in the desert doesn't mean she's cool with all the desert things. I'm not cool with the desert things. She lives in the city. She doesn't want to see the desert things. I don't want to see the desert things. I go to the desert only whenever the rattlesnakes are hiding because it is winter. And they're like, nope, it's too cold. And if I do see one, guess what? I'm going to run. You know how fast I'm going to run? You're not going to know because I'm just going to be gone. So, okay, remember that trail out by Lake Mead that has the tunnels for the railroad tunnel? That is the first place that made me so aware of the rattlesnakes out in Vegas region, because they were like, yeah, rattlesnakes. So when I went to the visitor center, I was like, oh, there's this sign for rattlesnakes. And the lady was like, yeah. Right before it gets to the time that we shut the trail down because it's too hot, there's a lot of rattlesnakes. And I was like, oh, I'm getting out of here. Yeah, I'm not cool with snakes or spiders or scorpions either. Nope. Bobcats are interesting. I've seen bobcats and cougars out and about. I've seen bears out and about. I've seen lots of interesting things. Normally, they leave you alone as long as you're making some noise. They always do say, though, that small children, if you have small children with you, you're more likely to have issues with those because they see them as prey. So I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I despise. I did work on my fear, though, while I was in my traveling this time. I did not run. I moved very rapidly, but I did not run when confronted by a snake. At the same time, I nearly still had a heart attack. Ooh, snakes are just, oh my gosh. Oh, you shouldn't tell me that, Anika. I was planning on going there possibly this winter. I mean, they won't be there this winter, but oh my gosh. That's terrifying. That is just terrifying. Like anything without feet who can go all those places, something is wrong. And also, like, Riley found a video recently of a snake climbing a tree. And she was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, yeah, that's why we don't trust them. Like, they can do so many things. Ooh. Oh, Mustangs and wild horses. Those are fine. Those are fine. We like horses. They're not scary. I mean, they can be, I guess, but like to the average person, they're not. Whew. The python thing. Oh. Yeah, exactly. It circles the tree and then uses its like weird flexy muscles to be like, hi, hi, hi. And then it's suddenly there. And then it's in the tree. So if it wanted to not be in the tree, guess who can jump out of the tree because it can just slither off. And then it falls. And then like if it's a really bad snake, that's like a water snake, it can fall into your boat. And that does happen. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, some snakes swim. That was how I confronted my fear. I cannot wait for you guys to see how brave I was because I filmed a snake. That is so many light years of progress. I filmed it. I filmed it knowing I was going to have to edit it. And that is hard for me because like, oh my gosh, I don't, No, I don't do well. I don't do well. Yeah, I didn't know this particular kind of snake swam. This is the first snake of this kind that I've ever seen that could swim, because I've never, been around them. And it was swimming, and it was bad, and it was little, and it was non-poisonous. And I only know that because all of the snakes in this area are non-poisonous, but that didn't matter. It didn't matter. That's the only thing that kept me from just like running, was the fact that in my head I was like, it's non-poisonous, it's non-poisonous. It didn't help, but it did a little bit. Ooh, rattlesnakes are no joke, man. Yeah, I hate them. I'm trying super hard. I couldn't. Okay, so Mary, this is how bad it is. I think I've told this story here before, but if I have not, and this is your first time hearing it, I'm sorry. This is going to be unfortunate news. At one point in time, I went to a zoo, and I was trying to look at the lizards and frogs, which were in this one section, lizards and frogs. And I was like, I'm safe on this side because it's lizards and frogs and alligators and stuff like that. I can deal with all those. Those don't freak me out. On this other hole, unattached to where I was, snakes, Snakeapalooza. Okay, so I wasn't going over there. Why is it that the guy with the guy who was in charge of this particular area was doing a demo where he was bringing out this giant snake, and he brought it out as I'm over in the little area with the lizards and the frogs, right? And I see this, and instantly I'm like freaked out because he's coming toward the direction I am to show all the little kids in the area this massive, terrifying snake. And this child was like standing in front of me, and another one was, I felt very claustrophobic, and I panicked, and I basically took my hand and mashed and moved this kid so I could run. And I felt really bad because I didn't know that kid, but I basically face-palmed a poor child out of fear, like instinctually just no and run. And I ran out of the building, and it's not my proudest moment. I face-palmed a kid. And I felt really bad about that. I still feel really bad about that. But at the same time, that's how I know that my fear of snakes is really bad, because I face-palmed a small child because I was terrified, and that was my instinct, was just to get out. Just get out. I don't even know the kid knew what happened. He was just probably like, what? Or his mom, if she was there, was probably like, oh my gosh, this woman touched my kid. I literally just was like, move, run, go. Yeah, I don't do good. I don't do so good. Yeah, so for me to go from that to being able to film a snake in the distance, that's a big thing. I couldn't even look at signs that had snakes because just the picture of a cartoonish version of a snake freaked me out. There are so many movies that I have not been able to watch because they have, guess what, snakes. Even if they're tiny little cartoon snakes. Like Robin Hood, if I knew that Hiss was coming on, I would just be like, ugh, like, it's Hiss. I shouldn't be afraid of Hiss, you know? Random freestyle rap now. I don't know that that would be such a good idea. I agree, and he should have got out the way, but I don't know that he knew that's what was happening. Again, very small kid. I felt bad about it. Yeah, the TV even freaks me out. So there's just no good way to do snakes. But to my defense, I also don't watch anything that has animals for the most part, period. Because, I don't know. Why is it that every single animal movie has to have the animal overcoming some bad thing? Or some, like, thing that's making them not able. I mean, I understand they make characters so that they can be relatable, and they use animals to tell the stories so that they are inclusive, and that is fine. I totally am okay with that. But like, why is it that they have to have them like wounded or like sad or like somebody doesn't like them? I'm very compassionate toward animals. Okay, I watched How to Train Your Dragon because my parents wanted to go watch it, and I'm not going to spoil it for people, but let's just say there's a part in there that I just looked over at my parents and I was like, excuse me, why are we watching this? Like, why? Like, there's so many movies I have not watched because they have animals in them. There are so many movies I will never watch because they have animals in them. Cartoon movies that people are like, yeah, this is great. I have watched The Secret Life of Pets. I watched that. I was okay with that one. I watched the one where Kevin Hart is like a bunny, I think. Was that Secret Life of Pets also? Or was that a different one? Anyway, I've watched that. But like, okay, I grew up in the time where they showed you Old Yeller on like TV at school, and that was horrible. And then Where the Red Fern Grows, horrible. Also, by the way, I've been to Where the Red Fern Grows, like where they filmed it. It's in Oklahoma. It's a fascinating place. But yeah, those were the movies that they showed us at school. This is why I don't watch animal movies. They took us to see Prancer, which Prancer, Christmas movie, it should be upbeat, but like at the same time, like, dude, why do the animals have to go through such bad stuff? Wait, oh, it gets worse. The Land Before Time. All dogs go to heaven. So at some point I was like, I'm not doing this. So I don't. As an adult, I've chosen not to do that. And that leads me down some paths where people are like, how have you not seen this? And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's about an animal. We're not doing that. I even tried to watch some movies later on in life where it was like about animals. And I was just like, it's no better now. They haven't fixed this. It's still the same problem. Yes, All Dogs Go to Heaven will wreck you. That is the whole point. It's bad. Cujo, no, I've never watched Cujo. I've seen all the behind the scenes stuff of Cujo, how they made Cujo. I really liked a lot of those kinds of movies. I watched a bunch of horror movies. And I know Riley's hearing me say I watched a bunch of horror movies and going, no, you don't watch horror movies. I don't watch them when I'm on the road. But I will watch them by myself at home. And that's fine because I can lock the door. It's very different. Halloween 3 Seasons of the Witch is a horrible movie. I haven't seen Halloween 3. Have I seen Halloween 3? I probably have. I think I've seen all the Halloween movies. Where the Red Fern Grows will traumatize anyone who watches it. It's so sad. Oh, thank you so much, Jean. I just always hope that whatever I'm saying resonates with people because I feel like there's so many times that people just talk down to themselves because of the noise around them. And we shouldn't do that. Like, we shouldn't do that. We should live our lives and be happy about our lives and not worry about the other people. And we so often do the opposite of that. We worry about what other people are about and thinking and saying and what society tells us we should look like or be like or do, and that's stupid because it's not that we're stupid, it's that we're conditioned to think that. And why? I was talking to someone in the comments on one of the videos the other day, and we were chatting about this very thing, and I was like, the least interesting thing about me is how I look. Hate to break that to people, but if the most interesting thing about you is your appearance, you might want to grab a hobby. Just saying, because you got to find some things that are more interesting than just how you physically appear. You can have gorgeous hair, you can have beautiful figure, you can have perfect complexion, but if you don't have any substance behind that, you're literally just vacant. Why? Like, that can't get you through everything in life. Yes, it'll get you through some things in life. There's proof of that every day. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you have to like be a person who has something else. Something else. And if you're not, then I'm sorry for you. I really am. Because there's so many more things out there that make people incredible. Like, you can have beautiful, amazing homes at the same time. That doesn't matter. You could have a miserable life inside that home. So it's what you put into things that matters, not necessarily what the appearance of those things are. And I think that more people should understand that, because at the end of the day, everyone is going to go through a societal change. Look at the 90s. Okay, the 90s are a perfect example. The heroin chic trend where the beauty standard was just to be like this big and have no boobs, no booty, to like have nothing but like emaciation. That went away by the 2000s, where they were then like, hey, we like curvy people. And then now it's going back to like a thin, but not like heroin chic kind of body standard. That's always going to change. If you look at society's norms throughout every decade of existence, They're constantly either tweezing away their eyebrows, bushing out their eyebrows, changing what products that they use to make them look more pale, changing their products to make them look more tan. If we base all of what we are on just that, girl, no. We're going to be sitting there chasing what? Somebody else telling us that this is a trend? My body's not a trend. It's the body that I have to live in. So I need to enjoy it for what it is and then make all the other stuff the stuff that matters, you know? And that's kind of how I look at life. Let's see. 55 used to be a model. Your body and looks change. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Werewolf movie back in the 80s called Silver Bullet. Gary Busey. And one of the Coreys. Which Corey was it? Was it Feldman? I can't remember which one was in that one. I do know the movie, though. I have seen that movie, actually. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on life in general. Also, I feel like there's a lot of people who, whenever you watch a YouTube video, a lot of people watch for different reasons. So some people watch for like the educational value of going to places, learning about places, traveling vicariously through someone else. Some people plan their trips based on those things. Some people are looking for a specific item, a specific museum, a specific fact. And that's one side of it. And then some people are just wanting the escapism of it being like TV. And so if it's like TV to that person, they're living vicariously through that person as though they're not a real person to some extent. And so I think that that's the biggest thing that we all kind of take away, is that we are all finding people at different junctures of their lives whenever they find a video, for example. So if you try to cater toward just somebody who is aesthetically watching your channel, that's not necessarily going to be why everyone is watching your channel. So you almost have to realize that every person who's watching is different. So not everybody's going to like every single thing you do, and be okay with that. And that's fine. It's really hard though, especially again, going back to like society's values. Whenever you look at those things, people are so much conditioned to, I need the approval of others. I need people to like me. I need people to want to be my friend. No, you don't. Like, you really don't. Because at the end of the day, I think we all have figured out that if you have one or two good friends at the end of the day who you can actually sit there and say is your safety buddy, or you can sit there and talk about anything at any time and pick up where you left off. If you have one or two of those people, you are very lucky, because there are people who have none of those things. And so getting everyone on the internet to be your high five friend is just not realistic. So it's more important to just be okay with being yourself. And then the people who are supposed to be in your life will be there for whatever reason, whether it's viewing casually, actually enjoying what you're doing, hanging out in real life. And each of those people is going to be a different version of what it is that they see from you. So I think that that's kind of where the diversity of range comes in, as opposed to just the, oh, I'm pretty on the internet. Like, okay. If you're pretty, that's a surface level thing, and somebody might like watching you, but the minute that you change from that thing, they're no longer interested, because you're no longer that thing. The nice thing about being on the internet for like 8 years now is that I started off and I was very thin whenever I started off, and then I got sick, and then I was not so thin, and now I've lost a little bit of weight and stuff like that. And there's ebbs and flows to everything, but I have seen through that just how society works when it comes to who's watching and paying attention. The people who you want to stick around are the people who want to be there for the journey, not necessarily for one thing. When I started out, I had a whole bunch of dudes who would watch me and they'd be like, oh yeah, baby, baby. And it was kind of gross. It was kind of gross. And I was like, okay, like, I don't know you. Like, you're just being a weirdo creep. I much rather prefer to have normal intellectual conversations with lots of people versus, oh yeah, you're hot. Because when somebody likes you only because they think that you're hot, that is so surface. And yeah, you might be able to pull their little strings and control them a little bit by being like, oh yeah, look, here's my this, or oh look, oh, I did this angle, you like that angle. At the same time, girl, get some substance. That's all you got to do. That's the main thing, is having substance. It's so much more important. Like right now, we're having a full-on conversation and empowering each and every one of us. And we're having the same kind of sentiments. Like, yeah, it's important to have value beyond just, ooh, 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 baby, baby. Now, every so often, is it nice to have a ooh, ooh, baby, baby comment? Sure. But at the same time, do you just want ooh, ooh, baby, baby comments, or do you want what comes out of your mouth to be more important? I have hobbies and stuff like that too. I have tons of hobbies. I'm a person who is probably like a chronic hobbyist. I like to learn how to do things, try to master it to completion, and then have it just in my tank of random knowledge that I have. I think there's a lot of people out there who are like that. I've taught myself how to knit. I've taught myself how to paint. Again, I'm not the greatest at any of these things, but I'm decent enough that I can do the thing that I'm trying to do. I've taught myself how to illustrate. Kind of the same thing with the rest of my life. Earlier in life, I taught myself how to do digital graphic artist stuff, and it got me the job that I wanted, the big job. And so I think that there's value to constantly challenging your brain, not just worrying again about the physical, but also worrying about what's up here, because this is so much more important to continue to grow your craft and your skills. Because the more that you do that, the more that you pour into your own tank. And when you pour into your own tank all of those things, guess what happens? You end up being a much more diverse, well-rounded person, but you also educate yourself about others. And there's been a lot of things that I have learned just by listening to others and seeing their feedback. And then I'm like, ooh, I might want to try that. And then I try it and it's something I enjoy. It's kind of like we were talking about earlier about the places that I go. Let's see. Oh, Fantasy. Hello, hello. You crochet. Nice. I am not super great at anything. I am super awesome at learning things though, so I just kind of keep on going. I am awesome at making beanies. Anything beyond that, probably not going to happen, but I can make a beanie in a single setting. And I'm good. And I was just joking, in fact, with Riley about that it's almost beanie season again. So I'm sure that I'll make at least one beanie this season just because I like to get it out, make sure I can still do it, and keep the craft going. I like to do a lot of different things. I've been working on a lot of painting lately, and I'm trying some new techniques. I even bought some new craft supplies. I'm super excited about that one. But yeah, each time that I learn something, I have a different thing that I can take with me that I can use for something else. And normally it factors back into something when I least expect it, and that's something that takes me to the next level of something else because I had the patience to learn the other thing. And so it's kind of been interesting, but I wouldn't be doing YouTube if I wasn't that person who just continued to try to go forward, because it takes a lot of patience sometimes whenever, like we were talking about earlier, YouTube doesn't serve your videos out to your people who are actually subscribed to you. Super frustrating. And you can either be like, oh no, or you can just be like, okay, it is what it is. Like, I'm patient. Let's see. Loved the videos with the light painting. I've thoroughly enjoyed light painting. The problem with light painting is it has to be super, super dark. And a lot of times whenever you're in a super, super dark place, you want to be with friends. So that if you're out there skipping around with lights, you don't have something randomly strange happen to you. So it's easier to do that with friends. I can't do light painting. Uh-oh, I have a mosquito. I can't do light painting too much in my base camp area because there's so much light pollution, not just from my personal lights, but also from the lights around. So that makes it a little harder, but I do want to do that again. I think that'd be super fun. Let's see. I do have to do that with my bigger camera though. So maybe that's why also I haven't really tackled it as much, because I haven't been taking that one with me. Let's see. I'm going to make sure I'm all caught up. Your husband and son are going through medical issues. Oh. Well, I'm glad I can bring you along vicariously, but also I hope that they're okay. We were talking a little bit earlier about all the sickness and things like that, and it's just been really bad lately. Let's see. It is starting to get kind of darker, so I'm going to have to wrap it up soon because otherwise it's going to get dark. Also, the mosquitoes are starting to come in and I have my windows down so I don't burn up. Even though you can see we're nice and red right now because it's still pretty warm. Let me see. There was something else I was going to tell you guys before I left, though. What was it? What was it? Oh, no. Ooh, I do have a few interesting things coming up. Let's talk about that, and then I'll close out the video so that everybody can get around, and I can get out of the mosquitoes and possibly go get myself some din-din because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Let's see. Over the next couple months, you're going to see a ton of things. You're going to see a lot of shorts. I'm going to be putting out a ton of shorts as kind of like little behind the scenes snippets, some things that you may have seen, some things you may not have seen, some things that I'm getting ready for, some things that I've already done. I like to use the shorts as just like an easy way to show people just a quick, fast, and in a hurry, like look at my life, whether it's just a pretty nature thing or something really cool. Of course, daily videos continue to come out, and I have lots of questions that I'm going to be answering. A lot of people were asking for some information on some of the things in my van, so I have some videos that address that. I also have some questions about some things that are going on with the van, because yeah, we're going to talk about it. The van is about to roll over 100,000 miles, so I thought that was a good timing to talk about it. Let's see, on the Tiny Home channel, I'm going to have some recipes coming out that will probably come out in the month of either late November or December. We've got a lot of editing to do, guys. I've been very busy across the board. Until then, there will be some videos that are coming out of the trail cam footage of the cats at the base camp, so you guys can see what's kind of been going on with feral cats. On the nature channel, I'm putting out a ton of videos over there. I'm just kind of collecting them and putting them out just sporadically. The nature channel is a really fun place, and the story behind the nature channel is I wanted to put that together so it'd be something that collectively as a family we could do. So my parents actually contribute to that as well, and that way we get to see all the fun little nature of all the crazy little things that are going on. And so that's going on. I have some tri-channel videos I'm working on. I have a lot of channels just for funsies. Tri-channel is a great place for me just to try out something random and new that I haven't done before. And in doing that, I just kind of throw out something I'm trying out. There's several different makeup things over there because I really enjoy doing makeup. There's a few strange things that I've tried over there. So that's all there. And so all of that's kind of there. I have a few things, though, that I have purchased to try, and I'm going to put them there because that's just easier. Nomad News, I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet. I've been trying to go back and forth with some different things. I think there's value to what we were doing with that. However, we've kind of restructured some things, and so not all the same things are going to be present when I bring it back, and I think that'll be really good, but it takes a lot of work to get that relaunched with what I'm trying to do, because I'm trying to change some of the formatting. So that means I'm building in new graphics, I'm working on all that, so it's a process. It's a time-consuming process to do all the stuff that I want to do with that. So I'm working on it, but it's slow moving. So we'll see what happens with that. Kind of a one-woman show over here. I don't have editors. I don't have anybody who does all this stuff. So it's all me all the time. And as you can imagine, there's a lot. There's a lot because all of the stuff I've mentioned today, yeah, that's just scratching the surface. I have some other special projects I'm working on behind the scenes that I can't tell you about yet. We'll see how they go, though. But those are all the things that are coming up channel-wise. As for non-channel, just social-wise, I post a lot of stuff on Instagram, so if you're ever interested in seeing kind of some of the pictures that I haven't shared over here, you can see them on Instagram. Of course, Patreon, I post kind of more frequent updates. I don't necessarily encourage everyone to go and pay me money to find out about those updates, but if you do want to support the channel, that's a really good way to do it. And then also the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee or the Buy Me a Coffee. That's been something that was requested, and so I do have that, and I've just been kind of shouting out people on my office days if they buy a cup of coffee. So all those things are still going, but that's that. I'm going to be doing some tent camping. I'm so excited about that. So excited. Again, I have a couple plans for that already, just small things, but taking it back to the roots of what it is. And I have a big project that is going to come out probably at the first of the year, realistically, if everything works out, where I'm going to be showing something very, very, very interesting. So we'll see how that goes. I don't want to give away too much because if it doesn't work out, I don't want people to be disappointed. I hate disappointing people, so I just don't want to get too far ahead of myself on that, I guess. But yeah, lots of stuff's going on. I have some more stuff that'll be coming up with Riley. And then also we have some interesting things coming up in the future with some of our other friends. In fact, you'll be seeing some of that very, very soon. So I'm so excited. It should be really, really fun. I hope that everybody has a wonderful rest of your week. If you are traveling, make sure that you are safe. If you are going to any of our national parks, make sure you pick up after yourself and others, because right now we're in a shutdown. If you are going to an opportunity to go to a state park, realistically, a lot of people from the National Park Service are encouraging us to do that instead. So kind of be mindful, be aware, and always take care. I'm going to get off of here, and I'll talk to you guys soon, I hope. We'll see when I can jump on for the next live. I'm hoping it won't be super long time, but if it is, we will see each other as soon as possible. It's getting very dark, though, so you're about to lose me. I normally end everything by saying we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. So bye, guys.